A plume of black smoke traces a dying arc across a jungle sky. The A-1 Skyraider, a beast of propeller and steel, cartwheels across a strip of red earth, shedding pieces of its wings like broken teeth. Fire licks at the crumpled fuselage as it grinds to a halt on a pockmarked airstrip. A lone figure, the pilot, scrambles from the cockpit, a tiny silhouette against a backdrop of overwhelming green. He runs, seeking cover that doesn't exist. This is the A Shau Valley. The date is March 10th, 1966. And for one American pilot, the world has just shrunk to the size of this bullet-swept runway. Mist clings to the serrated peaks of the mountains, a silent, watching jury. Below the A Shau Special Forces camp is an island of desperation in a sea of hostile jungle. For 2 days, it has been under siege, a relentless storm of mortar shells and machine gun fire. The air is thick with the smell of cordite and churned earth. The last line of defense is the sky, and the men of the 1st Air Commando Squadron. Their Skyraiders, rugged single-engine attack planes, are the thunder that answers the call of the men on the ground. In the cockpit of another Skyraider, orbiting high above the chaos, Major Bernard Fisher watches the scene unfold. His eyes, narrowed under the visor of his helmet, reflect the growing inferno below. His hands are steady on the control stick, a lifetime of flight training etched into his knuckles. The radio crackles with panic voices, a symphony of the damned. The downed pilot is Major Jump Myers, a comrade, a brother in the sky. Fisher sees Myers running, a desperate, zigzagging dance with death as enemy soldiers begin to emerge from the tree-line. The airstrip is being systematically torn apart by enemy fire. A voice over the radio is clear, an order born of grim necessity. All aircraft are to clear the area. The camp is being abandoned, the situation is lost. It is a death sentence for the man on the ground. Other pilots bank their planes, turning away from the maelstrom, their engines a mournful drone of retreat. But Fisher's plane does not turn. His eyes are locked on the running figure of Jump Myers, who is now dove behind a patch of low scrub. Puffs of dirt erupt around him, a lethal garden planted by an invisible enemy. A decision crystallizes in the space of a heartbeat. Fisher keys his microphone, his voice calm, cutting through the static. He's going in. A wave of disbelief floods the radio channel. It's not a rescue mission, it's suicide. The airstrip is a shooting gallery, littered with the debris of battle, pocked with fresh mortar craters. Landing a plane there is not just improbable, it is considered impossible. Fisher ignores the pleas. He pushes the stick forward, committing his aircraft to the descent. The jungle canopy rushes up to meet him, a solid wall of green. He levels out over the valley floor, his Skyraider alone, defiant target. The world outside his canopy becomes a terrifying blur of motion. Red and green tracer rounds paint fiery lines past his cockpit, so close he can feel the heat. The rhythmic thumping of anti-aircraft guns echoes in the metal frame of his plane. His focus narrows to the shattered strip of runway ahead. He sees the burning wreckage of Myers's plane, a twisted monument to the danger. He sees the craters, jagged mouths in the red earth. His hands move with practiced precision, adjusting flaps, managing his airspeed. The plane shudders as it enters the thick, smoky air over the camp. A jolt runs through the airframe as a bullet finds its mark. Then another. He doesn't flinch. His jaw is set, a mask of pure determination. The ground rushes up, a blur of churned mud and splintered metal. He flares the plane for landing, the wheels reaching for a runway that is actively trying to kill him. The tires hit the ground with a bone-jarring impact. The Skyraider bounces hard, threatening to shear off its landing gear. Fisher wrestles with the controls, a man taming a bucking beast. He steers around a smoking crater, the wingtip of his plane just inches from disaster. He navigates through the debris field, the propeller wash kicking up dust and shrapnel. Bullets ping against the fuselage, a deadly rain on a metal roof. He brings the heavy aircraft to a screeching, shuddering halt, directly in the line of fire. The cockpit canopy is open, the roar of battle flooding in. Fisher does not leave his seat. He is completely exposed. He unstraps his harness just enough to lean out, waving frantically. His hand, gesturing wildly, is a beacon in the storm. From his meager cover, Jump Myers sees it. He sees the impossible. A friendly plane, sitting in the middle of hell, waiting for him. Adrenaline surges through him, overriding fear and exhaustion. Myers sprints. His boots sink into the soft earth. Dirt kicks up at his heels, not from his speed, but from the hornet's nest of enemy bullets. He runs toward the idling skyraider, the most beautiful and terrifying sight of his life. The enemy, seeing what is happening, intensifies their fire, concentrating everything they have on this single point of defiance. Myers can hear the snap of rounds passing by his head. He keeps his eyes locked on Fisher's plane. He reaches the aircraft, his lungs burning. He throws himself onto the wing, his hands scrambling for purchase on the hot metal. He slides toward the cockpit, a desperate, clumsy climb under a hail of gunfire. Fisher reaches across, his strong hand grabbing the front of Myers' flight suit. He hauls his friend over the side and into the single-seat cockpit. There is no room. Myers collapses onto Fisher's lap, a tangle of limbs and gear in a space designed for one. They are alive. They are together. But they are still a stationary target. Now comes the second impossible act. The throttle is pushed to its absolute limit, the engine screaming in protest. The propeller bites at the thick, humid air, the plane beginning to roll, agonizingly slow. Bullet holes appear like violent stigmata on the plane's metal skin. The instrument panel shatters. A round punches through the fuselage just behind Fisher's head. The enemy is closing in, now visible as figures firing from the edge of the jungle. The skyraider lumbers down the ruined runway, heavy with two men and the weight of their destiny. It bumps and lurches over the uneven ground, each crater a potential breaking point for the landing gear. The end of the runway, and the unforgiving jungle beyond it, is approaching with terrifying speed. The airspeed indicator needle crawls upwards, painfully, sluggishly. It is not enough. They are not going to make it. Fisher keeps his hand firm on the throttle, pushing it through the firewall. He pulls back gently on the stick, coaxing the wounded bird into the sky. For a long second, nothing happens. The wheels refuse to leave the ground. Then, with a final, shuddering lurch, the plane lifts. It clears a burning jeep by mere feet. It schemes over the treetops, the leaves of the jungle canopy brushing against its belly. They are airborne. Silence descends inside the cramped cockpit, the chaos of the runway replaced by the steady roar of the damaged engine. The two men, crammed together, share a silent look of disbelief and profound relief. Below them, the A Shau Valley recedes, a smoldering scar in a vast, indifferent jungle. The flight back is a tense affair, the plane vibrating, a wounded animal limping home. They land back at their base, the skyraider rolling to a stop on friendly soil. The ground crew rushes out, their faces a mixture of awe and shock. They look at the two men climbing out of the single-seat cockpit. They look at the plane. It is a testament to the impossible. 19 bullet holes are counted in the battered fuselage. The metal is warped and torn, the canopy shattered, the instruments destroyed. Yet it flew. The A Shau camp would fall. The battle was lost. But on March 10, 1966, in the heart of that losing battle, a victory of the human spirit was forged. Major Bernard Fisher did not just rescue a fellow pilot. He demonstrated a form of courage that defies logic, a commitment to a comrade that overrides the very instinct for survival. For his actions that day, flying into the teeth of certain death on a runway no one thought could be used, he would be awarded the Medal of Honor, the first member of the Air Force to receive it in the Vietnam War. His story is not one of strategy or tactics, but of a singular, heroic choice, a moment when one man looked at impossible odds and chose to fly straight into them. Tell me your favorite war story I should talk about next. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video.